right?
I think so.
13?
12 or 13.
That's it.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Bill Ulivieri of Senecal Capital Management. We're an independent, fee-based wealth management firm, IRAs, 401ks, investment accounts, and long-term care insurance. I'm here with Matt Berrafato, doing the Final Third Network. And Matt, introduce yourself.
Matt Berrafato with Elephant Hunting Incorporated, and I'm a life coach. I actually help people find their purpose in life, and the concept of the Final Third is a concept that is near and dear to my heart because it's an audience that I think deals with specific challenges that are unique when you enter that phase. At least maybe they get more emphasis, they get more focused, or they become a little bit more real.
Right.
And today I wanted to talk a little bit about a concept that I'm introducing for the first time in my new book that's coming out. The book is called Purpose or Passion, Which Comes First? It's a question I think everybody should answer. And in there I talk about COD. COD is your checkout date. And a lot of people are going, really? You say, yeah, it's really, why not talk about it from the perspective that, on this planet, everybody does die. And therefore, when you know that that's going to happen at some point, are you thinking about things a little differently? The example I like to give is, when you're going on a vacation and you've got only 3 days before the vacation starts, what do? How do you act really different because you got to get some stuff done before the vacation comes? Well, how about if your actual COD was going to come and you had to get some stuff done? Right. What would you do? Well, I just had an experience this last weekend where it was actually my wife's cousin, her husband, passed away of a massive heart attack at age 63. And I'm 61, and I knew that David was such a great guy, and it surprised everybody. No one was expecting it, and I experienced the wake and the funeral and part being around the family. And you know what, Bill? It really taught me. It just brings to the forefront. Am I doing everything I'm supposed to do in my life while I'm here right now? And that's why that purpose or passion becomes a very important question. Yes. Because you know what? What if there's a reason that I'm on this planet for, and I knew what it was, and I didn't do something about it?
Right.
On living that way. Now, these topics we talk about all the time sort of happen on different levels, but it's just interesting how. Was I sad? I was really sad, but what was interesting is I really enjoyed the celebration of this man's life, and that I was part of it. And what was interesting is that I was able to share my feelings, but wouldn't it have been cool if I could have shared them while David was here? Right. Which is, as he was looking down on us, we don't know that. But we do know now that at least his loved ones were able to receive a little bit of the love that he gave to me and I gave back to him, and it affects our decisions. So why don't you share a little bit from me, because you've had a number of experiences yourself recently, right?
Well, right. It's just we're into the first 4 months of 2019, and we've already had 4 friends, family members, in our network that have passed away. One from a sudden heart attack, probably age 61 to 65, I would say. Left behind a family of maybe 8 children, all ages. The youngest is probably still in the late teens. And I also have a Facebook group. It's from former and current members of the Chicago Board Options Exchange, where I spent most of my career. And I've got about 1,500 members in this group. And it is not really, it's kind of morphed into, hey, what's everybody doing? Where'd you all land after the trading business has disappeared? To now become almost like a community of obituaries where people are passing away. Right. Rest in peace. It's this diaspora of the trading floor. We don't know where we are anymore. And it's also very shocking just how young some of the people are passing away. And mind you, we don't know how or why they passed away. It could be a health issue. It could have been an accident. Someone could have taken their own life. We don't really know. But it's just a very tough, there's a science fiction show that I watched probably in the last year where people would look at their arm and you would see like a stopwatch, like a timer that let you know how much time you had left before you would die, right? Wow. And you could buy and sell these credits. But we don't have have the luxury of doing that because really we don't know if we're going to live to be 110 with medical advances. It's certainly looking that way, or if we're going to pass away as we walk out the door and close this episode today. So again, we're not trying to be morbid. We're not trying to bring this dark cloud over the final third network. If anything, it's probably the most freeing and exciting time period because we have given us an opportunity to focus with like laser-like focus on what we want to accomplish in the last time that our Creator has given us. And I think that that's profoundly interesting because there's a lot left undone. I know I can say that in my own case before the checkout date.
So now let me ask you this very personally. You've got 4 people that now you've referenced.
Yes.
And what was your first initial thought when that realization is hitting you that you're not far from being 61 or whatever? Well, talk to me about
You're gonna think this is crazy, but I would say, the older I get, I think the concept of death becomes more of a friend than something I was scared of. I realize now that I'll be 60 this year that it's going to obviously happen within the next 35 years. And this is going to sound crazy, but I feel like I am underinsured. For me, making sure that I have adequate insurance to care for my wife and my kids and my grandkids, I know it sounds kind of maybe shallow, but the truth is, I believe that life insurance, and yes, I sell, full disclosure, I do receive my license about 5 months ago, and I realize how drastically and vastly underinsured I am because I want to be able to leave a better nest egg for my wife and for my family and for my grandkids and leave a legacy behind on the financial front because I'm leaving behind who I am, right? It's like, he's Bill, he's Dad, he's my husband, he's Grandpa, he's Nono, and this is who he is and who he was, and I kind of give that to my kids every day, for better or for worse, but really to be able to leave behind enough assets for my family so they can kind of live a slightly more relaxed life, or that's something that's really important to me. And the only insurance that matters really is the stuff that you have on the day that you die, and these advanced medical care and dementia and all these power of attorneys, all these things that we're talking about. It's all very important documents, but also there comes with it a financial aspect that needs to be in place so that you can carry out the power of attorney for your property, right? Do you have enough money set aside to pay your taxes or to pay your assessments, your homeowner assessments, and things like that? So for me, it's on one hand, wow, almost all the people that I know had passed away immediately and suddenly, and I kind of think that that's a blessing in many cases. But to make sure that my family's protected and having insurance.
I appreciate you being honest with me, and that's why I'm going to answer the question myself because I think it's important that people hear. So, for me, it was really, and this just happened this last weekend, and for me, what happened was I asked myself, what else do I have to get done that only I can do? That was really important. This new book I got coming out, if that thing does not get published, I die tomorrow, and some reason it doesn't come out, nobody else can write that book. You have a book inside of you. You have a story inside of you, and is there something that needs to be told? And so I really seriously look back at my this list of to do. What are those things that I could do that are most important? And you use the word legacy as far as financially taking care of things. I like to use the word legacy because maybe not so much, maybe the question is, what is the legacy that you and I are leaving to those who are going to be left behind on this planet?
Right.
And to me, that's a fun question to explore. It's not a morbid question. It's a fun question because at least if you're thinking about it, you can actually say, I've actually taken steps towards leaving a legacy that is, of only my experience could do.
Right.
If I can share that experience. So for me, it's been enlightening to get off my rear end and do some things. For me, they were specifically writing. There's some stories that I want to pen, that I want to record, and a part of this, and part of it is this final third that we're filming.
Right.
I want this thing to, if we don't set the stage of the things to be talked about, nobody else may. Not the way we're thinking.
Right. Matt, let me tell you a quick story. So my nephew lives in South Carolina, and he's an entrepreneur. He has several side businesses. One of them is setting up like a photo booth at a wedding reception, so people can come in. They've had a few drinks. They're taking photobomb pictures. But another thing he does is he takes a video camera recorder, very similar to the one that we're using here, and he'll go into a nursing home or a memory care facility, and he will interview people who are older, that they might have short-term memory issues, but they remember everything that happened during World War II, or the Korean War and Vietnam War with incredible accuracy. And he will ask them questions upon questions. How did your family come here? How did you emigrate from Italy? What were some of the struggles that your family had? Tell me your life story. And he will record all it. Then he will transcribe it into text, and then he'll publish a limited edition book. It is a keepsake for the family, so that all the family members can understand what was the trials and tribulations and struggles that the family had gone through that maybe our millennial kids don't really understand. Because for them, a tough life is not being able to get a Wi-Fi signal on the second floor. And here, my grandfather lived in the alleys of Manhattan when he came here after World War I. So it's really an interesting testament of, again, that concept of legacy. What do you want it to be for your family?
Well, that's great. I love that you told me that, because what about, this concept of this final third is what we're doing. We're having a little conversation. And the conversation we want you to hear, we want you to bend your ear and touch base with it. And the real question is, what are the other things and issues that are going on? So for example, you said about the legacy and recording that down before someone gets dementia and can't remember that. When you're the oldest living relative of the family, when that person dies, if it hasn't been recorded in some way, it's gone.
It's gone.
And how sad is that? I'm thinking of my grandkids. They'll never know that part of the story.
Right.
If I want to, I've not been to Italy. I need to get to Italy.
Yeah.
That was one of the things came up. Someone actually pointed that out, and I said, I had this excuse. I'm not going to Italy because if I can't stay there for a month at a time, I got so many things I want to see. And they said, well, what's holding you back? And we're at the luncheon at the wake, and I'm going, that's a bad excuse.
Yeah.
And so I said,
Life
I'm
gets in
in.
the way.
I want to go. I want to go because you know what? If I don't, maybe, I can physically still do it.
Right.
Why don't we do this? Well, what else is there?
Oh, there's still
what
much.
else is there that is in that same category?
Well, I think, again, part of the issue is from the wealth management side, we see people who are afraid to let go of any cash that they might have. They have way too much cash just in case, right?
Right.
They have too much in a checking account, too much in the savings account, too much just sitting in a money market fund, because just in case they need this money. And sometimes it's in a exorbitant amount of money. Like the biggest check they've ever written was for a home of $125,000 years ago, and maybe that same home is $300,000 today. But they could have $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 sitting in money market fund, losing 2% annually because of where interest rates are. So unfortunately, the Federal Reserve and economics being, they're stealing the quality of life in many respects for retirees because there's no safe place to keep assets. So, for me to be able to set aside and create this guaranteed retirement income on a monthly basis, you get a check. What do I want to do? I want to be a member of the Lyric Opera. I haven't been to an opera or a symphony since I was in grammar school.
Right.
I want to go to the opera. I want to hit the museums. I want to do the architectural tour. I want to make sure that my family's taken care of. I want health club, like all these things cost money, right? And if you're too freaked out over the finances, you're not going to, in some respects, enjoy some of the things of the final third. And that's the conversation I want to have with people.
Absolutely. So one of the favorite things when people see me do a talk, and I'll do a workshop, and I do a brainstorming session. And I teach them about brainstorming, and we don't do enough of this. You just brainstormed right there,
right.
Whether or not you know
only
it.
Because we're doing these. Only because we're doing these episodes.
Right.
I had never thought about what do I want to do in retirement while I'm still able to do things.
I'm telling you that you're not alone. First of all, there's so many people out there in that audience right now that are in that same place. And my desire in this is to say, let's think about it while we can think about it. Let's record it by writing it down. When I say record it, just write it down.
Write it down.
And you know what? What if you had $1 million you didn't know what to do with? And you know what? You can make a movie about your life. You know what? The only requirements are you have to be in the movie and you can have anyone else star in the movie. And it's an unlimited budget, even more than $1 million. And my question is then to anybody, what would your movie be about? And I love watching people go back. They go, and they start thinking. And you write these things down. And then all of a sudden you come back and you go, that could be, oh my gosh, look what you've just written down is something that you've never told anybody.
Right.
And I'm saying, right now, what I believe COD does, it puts into our face the reality that there is a limited amount of time on this planet. And therefore, if you know what your purpose is, and or your passion, but purpose, and you don't use this unlimited wealth that you just found to touch the purpose, how sad would that be? How sad would that be if you died tomorrow and all of a sudden I had a chance to touch that purpose and go wherever it was going to be? Right. So we're encouraging people to, don't be afraid of COD. Let COD be a reminder that, if there's someone important in your life, and it doesn't have to be money. Right. If there's someone important to your life that you love, and you haven't told them that you love them, this last weekend, I'm going to tell you how many people said, I never had a chance to tell David that I love him. And he's gone now. I can say all I want when it's that, when it at the graveside or whatever, but it's not the same.
It's not the same.
So don't wait. Yeah. Don't wait. If you got someone in your life that you love and you got to tell them that you love them, and there's a reason you have to tell them you love them, and you're having an argument with that person and you're not doing it, what we're trying to tell you is COD is going to come and it's going to steal it away, and you don't know when it's going to come. That's what we've been told.
Yeah, honestly, Matt, we had a conversation recently with one of our panel members, and it was the concept of the celebration of life, right? So from what my experience, the celebration of life is a dinner or luncheon that you have after you've buried somebody, right. Okay? And maybe it's because they've been cremated, or maybe they just wanted a small chapel service, and there's not the traditional funeral graveside service that we normally see. And it is kind of sad, like we celebrate life after somebody's gone. Right. Where really what you need to do is kind of reconcile the books, tell the people that are closest to you that you love them, ask for forgiveness for the things that you've done wrong or you could have done better. And again, you don't know when your final breath will be taken. And again, we're not saying it because it's a bad thing. Oh. We're saying because it's part of the journey of life that we're on all together. And to have those conversations is really an important part of the Final Third Network.
We're doing this to celebrate life. These episodes are to celebrate life.
Yes.
And if we don't do this, guess what? Maybe no one's ever going to do this. Yes. I mean, that's why I think we're here. You and I are here for a purpose. We're on this planet for a purpose, and part of this purpose is to get you to understand you're here for a purpose. And if you're here for a purpose and you're not touching that purpose, I'm saddened. I'm saddened that you're not going to have a chance to fulfill one of the reasons that you might have been put here in the first place. So our challenge is this. Our challenge, Bill, is, at least from my perspective, you know what? If this resonates with you, number one, like this video, this episode. Reach out to us and tell what else should we be talking about in this issue of the Final Third. What are the things you'd like to hear us talk about and put on the table? Because you know what? If we don't hear back from you, we may leave something out that only you could actually throw it to us. Right. And I know we're coming up on the end of our time. I really thank you, Bill, for helping me have the courage to do this.
A bro hug.
It's really weird. People think you just said, then let's just do it, and we just did. Yeah. And that's what we hope we're going to bring you into this. So we want you to respond. You can reach me at matt@elephanthunting.net. I'm Matt the Elephant Hunter. Bill, how do they get a hold of you?
info@senecalcapital.com or area code 847-686-4800. And in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, you're going to see a Facebook like and share button, as well as a messenger button. Send us a Facebook message. Hey, Bill, Matt, can you talk about cybersecurity? Can you talk about transfer of death? Can you talk about wellness? Can you anything you want? Let us know what kind of topics you want to talk about, and we'll do our best to address them and have interviews with people that are experts in that area, bringing it again to the North Shore community here in Glenview, Evanston, Deerfield, Wilmette.
Or if you want to be a guest on our show, let us know, because it doesn't have to be that you have to be a resource. Maybe you're a great sounding board of people who are in their final third.
Maybe you've got a great story. Maybe you've got a very sad story. We want to know about it and share that with the community.
Absolutely.
Because again, this is this quiet crisis I think everybody's going through.
Absolutely.
Almost everyone without exception that I have talked to since we started these videos maybe 10 weeks ago is dealing with this issue, and we want to address it because it's this is something that can be elevated and found to be very joyful and not a sad, morbid kind of topic.
Absolutely.
So thank you again for being with us, and we'll see you again soon.
Until next time.